Hi, my name is Walt Hampton, and I'm really excited to be able to share with you today a comprehensive overview of a powerful marketing and sales system called Book Yourself Solid. Book Yourself Solid is the fastest, easiest, and most reliable system for getting more clients than you can handle, even if you hate marketing and selling. The program was designed by best-selling author and marketing master Michael Port, and it delivers amazing results. It's based on both philosophical and practical principles. The two core philosophical principles are these. First, we believe that there are some clients that we are absolutely meant to serve, and others not so much. Second, Book Yourself Solid is a love story designed as a business system. A love story between you and those people who you are meant to serve. And a love story between you and marketing, which frankly I never believed could happen for me, but it did. And a love story between you and your business. It's the why behind your business. There's also one core practical principle, and that is that marketing does not get you clients. Now that might surprise you. It did for me, but it bears repeating. Marketing does not get you clients. Marketing simply creates awareness of what you do in the world. It's what you do after people become aware of what you do that actually gets you clients. Of course, we need to do marketing to raise that awareness. That's necessary. But marketing is really about being relevant. If you're relevant, people will pay attention to you. The Book Yourself Solid system will teach you the strategies necessary to build that awareness. And then, this is really important, it will teach you exactly what you need to do going forward until your ideal clients buy what you have to offer. And that's how you're going to get booked solid. So then I want to tell you how the Book Solid system actually works. So this thing called marketing I talked about, this thing that creates the awareness. Remember, you need to be relevant. Marketing creates the awareness of your relevance and what you have to offer. Potential clients will then come to check you out. They'll want to see that you have a solid foundation, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. And if your potential client sees a solid foundation, they'll feel secure. They'll want to hang out with you, and they'll give you the opportunity to build and earn their trust. And then you'll be able to make sales offers to them in proportion to the trust that you have earned. And if you know how to price your offers, and if you know how to have a simple sales conversation, then you're going to book the business. And this process will repeat over and over and over again. And that's why Book Yourself Solid is a systematic approach to getting more clients. And what's better than a system? So let's walk through each of the 4 modules of this system. Module 1 is your foundation. And this is critically important because, like with a house or a building, the foundation is the place on which everything else is built. After you have created awareness of what you have to offer, potential clients are going to come and check out your foundation. And if they're going to allow you to build a relationship with you, they want to sense that the foundation is strong and secure. So we need to take the time to build a strong foundation. Building a foundation is a bit like putting together a puzzle, but we're going to do it one piece at a time. And you'll see that when we're done, we'll have a foundation that you and your potential clients can rely on. The first building block of this foundation is what we call the red velvet rope policy. The red velvet rope policy is a filtration system. It lets in only your ideal clients. You don't want to work with anyone who shows up with a pulse and a checkbook. That will drain the life out of you. You want to work instead with clients and customers who inspire and excite you, and who allow you to do your best work. Because 2 things happen when you are doing your best work? First, people talk about you when you're doing your best work. You shine. And when others are talking about you, that's the most powerful marketing that there is. Second, you will love almost every minute of the work you do. And if you're loving it, you'll want to do more of it. And if you want to do more of it, guess what? You might want to even do more marketing. Remember, one of the core philosophical principles of Book Yourself Solid is that there are certain people we are meant to serve and others not so much. Our main job is to do everything we can to find those people we are meant to serve. And we want to avoid the dud clients because they suck the life out of us. They bore us. They frustrate us. They prevent us from doing our best work. And believe me, I've had more than my fair share of duds. But if you have a red velvet rope policy, you won't. So how do you go about implementing one? Step one is to identify the qualities of your ideal client. Step two is then to prune your client list, dumping those duds. And then step three is to rinse, lather, and repeat, repeating the pruning on a regular basis. And if you're just starting out and don't have any clients, you're in a particularly good position, because if you put a red velvet rope policy in place from the start, you'll never have to face the challenges that so many of us have. Now, you can't be all things to all people. Otherwise, you'll never stand for anything, and you'll never serve those clients you're meant to serve in the most powerful way possible. You know, there was an old man, a boy, and a donkey, and they were going off to town, to marketplace. The boy was riding the donkey, and the old man was walking along beside him. Some people passed by and said, what a shame it was that the old man was walking while the boy was riding. The man and the boy thought about what the critics said, and they thought it was right, so they switched it up, and the boy began to walk. Further along, some of the other folks said, who passed by, how horrible it was that the man was riding the donkey and making the little boy walk beside. And so they decided that they both should walk. Still further along, some other people remarked how stupid they were to be walking when they had a perfectly good donkey to ride. So they decided to both ride the donkey. And then another group of people passed them by and criticized them for overloading the poor donkey. They took this to heart and they decided they should carry the donkey, which they did. And just as they were getting into town, they were crossing over the bridge high above a river, and the donkey slipped from their grip and fell into the river and drowned. The moral of the story is, if you try to please everyone, you might as well kiss your ass goodbye. You can't do your best work with everyone. At the core of our system is the belief that there are certain people we are absolutely meant to serve and others not so much. Our job is to do everything we can to find those people. And the red velvet rope policy is the most powerful way to do that. So that's the first piece of the puzzle, the first building block of our foundation. The second building block of the foundation is getting clear on why it is that people buy what you're selling. If you take 4 steps, you will understand why people are buying what you're selling. And this is an essential component in creating relentless demand for your services. Step 1 is to identify your target market. Step 2, identify the needs and desires of your target market. Step 3, determine the biggest results your clients get. And step 4, demonstrate the benefits of your investable opportunity. Let's look at each of these. First, what is your target market? The Book Yourself Solid system differentiates between target market and the idea of a niche. Your target market is the group of people you serve. Your niche is the service that you provide to those people. There are 3 reasons why you want to choose a very specific target market. Reason number 1, you will know where to find your potential clients. And that's really powerful. Reason number 2, your potential clients will know that you are committed to serving them. And reason number 3, you can tap into already established networks of communication to communicate and connect with your potential clients. Now, establishing a very specific target market can feel a bit scary at first, like you're limiting yourself. I know it did for me. Kind of still does for me. But remember, this is just a starting point. You can expand vertically in this market, offering more and more services to this particular group, or you can expand horizontally, selling your services to other markets. But you need a place to start, and that's having a very specific target. The third building block of your foundation is about developing a personal brand. What is a personal brand, you might ask? It's more than just what you do, or what your logo looks like, or your letterhead, or your business cards, or your website. It is you, uniquely you. And the more bold, authentic, and concise your personal brand, the more easily you'll attract your ideal clients, those clients that are meant to work with you. You don't want to be watering yourself down. You don't want to be bland or vanilla. You won't be an interest to anyone. So how do you go about developing your personal brand? It begins with bold and authentic self-expression. And it continues with 3 components of your personal brand. First, your who and do what statement. Second, your why you do it statement. And third, your personal brand tagline. Your who and do what statement lets others know who you help and what you help them do. It's the very first filter that others will use in determining whether you can help them. And once we have your who and do what statement, then you need to consider why you do what you do. Your why is the reason you do it. It's what gets you up out of bed every morning. It's what drives you. It's your fuel. Simon Sinek says it all starts with why. Folks who resonate with your why will be drawn to you like a magnet. And third comes your personal brand tagline. This is a very simple sentence that allows people to find you in the way that you yourself want to choose. It's a sentence or a phrase that means something to you and that resonates deeply for you and that will resonate with the people that you are meant to serve. The fourth building block of your foundation is how to talk about what you do. One of the main reasons so many professionals have difficulty building a successful business is they aren't able to communicate in a clear and compelling way exactly what solutions they offer. The Book Yourself Solid system teaches you how to talk about what you do without sounding confusing or bland or vanilla or like anyone else. So let me outline the 4 steps to do this. Step 1, you're going to like this, is killing the elevator speech, the elevator pitch. I think most folks can't stand the dry, canned elevator pitch, and most people can't stand listening to them. So instead of the elevator pitch, what you want is a meaningful conversation. Step 2 is to avoid using your professional category so you don't get boxed in. The truth is, we are so much more than our professions. So let's toss out the generic labels for now, like doctor, lawyer, accountant, trainer, consultant, coach. They only define you and one of the masses or part of the herd. They don't set you apart. Step 3 is having the conversation itself. And I've got a 5-step formula for that. A 5-part dialogue. The 5 parts are: first, who you help, that is your ideal client and your target market. Second, what the 3 biggest urgent needs of those people are. Third, how you go about helping those folks. Fourth, the big result that you give. And fifth, the deep core benefits that they get from working with you. Now, step 4 in this building block is about ditching the script. Now, I'm sure you've experienced the whole canned sales call thing, but that's horrible to listen to. The 5-part Book Yourself Solid dialogue will allow you to have a conversation, a real conversation, a passionate conversation with different people in different situations and you'll always be prepared. So that's Module 1. We're ready to move on to Module 2 of the Book Yourself Solid system. Module 2 is building trust and credibility. And like with Module 1, there are 4 building blocks to this module. The first is credibility and likability. In order to earn the trust of folks who come to check out your foundation, you need to establish yourself as a likable expert in your field. There are 4 steps involved in order to make that happen. Step 1, enhancing your professionalism with the standard credibility builders. This should seem obvious, but without them you just won't be taken seriously, like having a professional email address, high quality business cards, a well-designed website. Step two is upholding the 6 standards of service to maintain your credibility. Again, basic stuff, quality of service, best practices and best methods, responsiveness, upholding your expected credentials, making your clients feel important, and appropriate pricing for what you do. We'll talk about this in a little bit. Step number 3 is becoming a category authority and determining what you want to be known for. You become a category authority by learning everything you possibly can about the one thing you've decided you want to become known for. And becoming a category expert in your field isn't optional. If you want your business to be successful, then this is a must. The 4th step is understanding how your likability influences the process of decision making among your potential clients. Mark McCormick said, all things being equal, people will do business with a friend. And all things being unequal, they'll still do business with a friend. Your likability impacts trust. Think about it. You're much more likely to trust someone that you like, and that has a huge impact on how people value you. Develop trust and credibility as an expert, and you'll quickly become the best and most likable choice for your potential clients. The second building block of Module 2, building trust and credibility, is what we call the sales cycle process. The Book Yourself Solid sales cycle is a sequence that moves clients through various steps or phases. This is different from a sales funnel that has the same beginning and end point for all prospective clients. The Book Yourself Solid sales cycle works in a way that allows buyers to enter at any point, depending upon their own situation. To have an effective sales cycle process, we need to be mindful of 3 things. First, you need to be mindful and understand that an effective sales cycle is based on turning simple conversations, whether real or virtual, into relationships over time. Second, to create an effective sales cycle, you must understand and define for yourself the 6 keys of creating connection. And when you define these 6 keys for yourself, you'll be able to determine what you want to offer your potential clients at each stage of your cycle. Key number 1, who is your target client? What are they looking for? Where do they look for you? Why should they choose you? And how do you want to engage them? And the 3rd step in creating an effective sales cycle process is understanding how to implement what we call the 6 core self-promotion strategies. And I'll talk about that in Module 4. But remember this. All of your sales offers should be proportionate to the amount of trust that you've earned. And also remember that not all of your clients will be in the same place at the same time in your sales cycle. Some will be ready to jump in, others will take longer. Remember, this is about relationship, and relationships take time. Your goal is to continue to add value over time and connect with potential clients to build trust and credibility. The 3rd building block of Module 3 may be the most important building block of this module of all. It's called the Keep in Touch strategy. Now, there are 2 kinds of keeping in touch. One we'll talk about in Module 4, staying in touch with individuals like potential clients, colleagues, and others on a one-to-one basis. The other I want to talk about here is keeping in touch with your list in an automated way, such as when you send out email broadcasts, newsletters, and follow-up campaigns. How do you create a keep in touch strategy? Well, first of all, you need to have a system to collect the names of people you want to reach out to. Building this list is one of the most important assets of your business. And second, you need an automated way to be able to connect on a regular basis with your list and keep track of your interactions. In order to do this, you're going to need more than a simple address book or a spreadsheet. You're going to want to maintain meaningful information about the people on your list. And for that, you're going to want to use what we call a customer relation management system, a CRM. Now, remember, before you can communicate with people on your list, there are two things you need to be sure of. First, your communication needs to be relevant. And second, and this is even more important, you need to have been given permission to include them on your list. Permission marketing is critical. It's anticipated, that is, people look forward to it. It's personal, meaning it's related to them. And it's relevant, meaning that the communication has something to do with what they're actually interested in. And no doubt you've heard about the 80-20 rule in various contexts. Think about it here too. 80% of your content should be free and helpful. 20% should be a vehicle for sharing who you are and what you do and what you're selling. Or put another way, 80% is on the focus of the people you serve and 20% on you. Now, there are many ways to share content and to stay in touch with your potential clients. But the bottom line is that you need to keep in touch if you want to stay in business. Now, the final building block in Module 2 of the system on building trust and credibility is what we call the information products strategy. People, me included, love to buy packaged learning and experiences. They're convenient, they're easy to access, and they're easy to understand, and as a result, easy to buy. So having products and programs like this are a great way to serve your target market's urgent needs and desires, and they help build your trust and credibility. In addition, the right products and programs can help you build a faster, more powerful, more effective sales cycle. And as a low barrier of entry, they build your trust and credibility, and they also leverage your time. You make money while you sleep, and you stop trading your time for money. So how do you create an information product? Well, don't let this idea intimidate you. Simple tips, guides, or resource manuals are great ways to start. Keep it simple. Don't overwork it. And don't worry about having to be wildly original. 3 steps to making this strategy happen. Define your product or program, develop your product or program, and launch it. That's all there is to it. To begin, you want to choose the one product or idea that's you're most passionate about it and falls within your business needs. For example, if you're just starting out, you'll probably want to create a lead generating product, something that you can give away to build your list. But remember, it's essential that your product or program meets the needs of your target market. No matter how much you love your idea, if your target market doesn't need it, it's not going to satisfy your business needs. Once you've created your product or program, you're going to want to get ready to launch it. And after the launch, you're going to want to decide whether to make the product or program part of your suite of products or whether you hold on to it for another launch down the line. Okay then. We're ready now to move on to Module 3, perfect pricing and simple selling. Module 3 is the culmination of the Book Yourself Solid system because in it you're going to learn how to make offers that are proportionate to the amount of trust that you have earned and how to have sales conversations. This module has 2 building blocks, perfect pricing and simple selling. Let's start with perfect pricing. So what is perfect pricing, you might ask? Well, perfect pricing leaves both the service provider, that's you, and the client feeling like they got the better end of the deal. And in order to create this win-win outcome, you need to do 4 things. First, you need to consider the value of the benefits you have to offer. Think about the value of the deep-rooted benefits, the financial, emotional, physical, and spiritual benefits that your client gets from working with you. Consider how much income your service will create for your clients and how they're going to enjoy the fruits of the benefits, how much pleasure you'll be creating for them. Are you helping your clients connect with their purpose or spirit? Will your work create long-lasting peace of mind? Second thing you need to consider are the various pricing models available to you. And there are many, like trading time for money, not a great one, or a flat fee, or penetration, economy, or bundle pricing. And the third, as I mentioned, is that it's necessary for establishing perfect pricing to match your business objectives to that pricing model. Some other thoughts: frame your offers in a way that make your potential clients look at your products and services as the very best choice for them. Anchor your prices so that they have a reference point that makes your price look like the very best deal. Module 2 has the second building block of super simple selling. I like this one. To have a successful sales conversation, you have to, number one, let go of limiting beliefs so that you can say your offer with confidence. You need to follow the Book Yourself Solid paradigm of sales, using the 4-part formula and trashing the pitch of the day so that you're not coming across slimily. Let's talk about each of these 4 points. First, limiting beliefs will hold you back, so you need to work those through. Next, you need to remember that you will have successful sales conversations only when you have earned the right amount of trust at just the right amount of time. Remember, you can only make sales offers that are proportionate to the amount of trust that you have earned, and your clients buy only when it's right for them. When these 2 factors, trust and timing, come together, you'll have successful sales conversations and book the business. But this only works if you've got all the other stuff that we've talked about in place, that you've got a solid foundation with a red rope policy, that you're committed to working only with your ideal clients, and people understand what you're selling and why you're selling it, that you're not fuzzy, and that you've built trust and credibility over time, and that you've got a credible sales cycle, and you've got information products that enhance that credibility. It's then and only then that you're in a position to have an actual sales conversation. And when you do, you're going to use what we call the 4-part formula. A sales conversation is just that. A conversation, free-flowing, unscripted, but with 4 parts that look like this. Part 1. Ask your potential clients questions like, what are your goals? What are you working on? And then listen. Understand what your potential client is trying to achieve. Part 2 of the formula is to ask your client, how will you know when you've achieved that goal? What results will you see? And how will it feel when you achieve it? And then listen some more. And then to ascertain if your client is in a hiring frame of mind, move on to part 3 of the formula and ask something like this: would you like help with that? Now, if your potential client says no, wish her or him well and just keep in touch. But if she says yes, then part 4 of the formula is a question like this: would you like that person to be me? Adding, because you're my ideal client. Now, if your potential client then is interested, she's likely to ask, I'm your ideal client? Because for the most part, we don't hear that. And that will resonate with them. And perhaps they'll say, wow, when you tell them why that you're their ideal client. And then it's just a question of booking the time and calendaring it. So let's step back. There are 4 steps that are important. Executing the 6 core self-promotion strategies. And when a potential client becomes aware of you, he or she will look at your foundation. And if it looks secure, they'll give you the opportunity to build trust and credibility. And then, when you're planning to build that trust and credibility is strong, and you move your clients through your sales cycle, demonstrating likability and building trust and credibility, When the time is right, your potential client will raise his or her hand and want a sales conversation. And if you know how to price your offers and have that simple sales conversation, you'll book the business, and that'll happen over and over and over again. And this is why Book Yourself Solid is a systematic approach to getting more clients. Well, now we're ready to move on to the last module of the system, Module 4, the 6 core self-promotion strategies. The first 3 of these that I'm going to tell you about are mandatory. The other 3 are optional. The first of the 6 core self-promotion strategies is what we call the networking strategy. Now, if you're like me, when you hear the word networking, you get sick to your stomach and want, frankly, to run to the door. I have always despised all of those old school meet and greet events. But when we talk about Book Yourself Solid's networking strategy, we're talking about something entirely different and, frankly, refreshing. Here, networking is about connecting and sharing with others, and the focus is on creating and sustaining relationships with people you already know. We use the principle of the network of 90. If you focus on the most relevant 90 people in your network, you have a defined and manageable number. And then, in that context, I want to share 4 things. First, what we call the 50-50 networking rule. This rule requires that we share our networking focus equally between potential clients and other colleagues and professionals, because we don't want to focus just on potential clients, because this is about strengthening relationships, sharing resources, knowledge and information. And really, this can become a win-win for everyone. Second, in networking, you want to share who you know, what you know, and how you feel. There are 3 key essentials to this networking success. Sharing who you know with others. Connections are what make the world go round. You never know what connections might powerfully impact your life and your business, as well as the lives of other people. Sharing what you know means everything you know, adding value to those around you. And sharing how you feel and empathizing with others makes you human. It allows you to connect at a deep level and communicate to the world that you operate from your heart and with integrity. And we do this sharing, we do this networking with no expectation in return. Third, of course, is in every area of our life, we can always take this up another notch. And maybe it's by sending a book to a colleague or a potential client. Maybe it's a personal note or a card. Maybe it's as simple as sharing an article. Remember, this all is about creating, sustaining, nurturing relationships. The second of the core self-promotion strategies is what we call the direct outreach strategy. The networking was all about developing deeper relationships with people you already know. The direct outreach strategy is about reaching out to people you don't yet know but want to know. This is your plan to reach out directly to prospective clients, referral partners, and influencers without being slimy or pushing. And if it's done right, these people will become part of your network of 90. Here you want to create your Book Yourself Solid list of 20 people you don't know yet but want to. 20 is a number small enough for you to focus carefully on each person, but large enough to help create opportunities. So here's how it would go. Every day you reach out to one person on that list, and after you've done that, you put the person at the bottom of the list, and you'll reach out to that person again maybe in a month's time. The next day you reach out to the next person on the list, and that's how you do it day after day. You want to be sure to use what we call VITL, the outreach approach, to ensure that your messages are heard and acted on. This means that your efforts must be valuable, individualized, targeted, and legitimate. That will ensure that people know that you're reaching out from a place of honesty and integrity, and it won't be seen as slimy or spammy. Remember, dedicated, disciplined, and determined action is the key to success. And it's about relationship. Did I say that? The third of the 6 core self-promotion strategies is what we call the referral strategy. With this strategy, you can begin to create a snowball effect of new clients. And in order to use this strategy, you need to do three things. What we call pre-referral work, seize the day referral work, and post-referral work. The pre-referral work has three elements: looking back, looking ahead, and looking inside. Looking back involves remembering the circumstances around how that last quality referral came to you and understanding it. Looking ahead involves creating a log so that you can begin to track daily referral opportunities. By doing this, you'll begin to see what works and what needs tweaking. And looking inside means examining the referral process from the perspective of your potential referral source. Why would your referrers bother to give you a referral? So that's the pre-referral work. Seize the day referral work is just that. You want to seize the day. You want to get out and ask for referrals. And if you do this, you will increase your referrals by 50%. Asking. Seize the day referral work is also about facilitating referral connections, offering to meet with anyone who is important to one of your clients. Tell them about your services and the benefits you offer. Hand out your cards, send an email. And so let's talk about the third element of the strategy, the post-referral work I mentioned. You want to follow up with the referrals right away. You want to be proactive and contact the referral and introduce him or her to what you do in a meaningful and helpful way. Be engaged, be excited, be passionate, be warm, be inviting, be confident. Open your heart, make eye contact, and smile. This is really important. Circle back and nurture the relationship with the referral, with the referrer source. This is the post-referral work. The fourth of the 6 core self-promotion strategies is the speaking strategy. The Book Yourself Solid speaking strategy can be used by virtually any service professional to get in front of potential clients and share your knowledge, talents, and strengths. If you want to use this strategy to supercharge your marketing, it's a great one. You can take 2 approaches: by inviting people to see you or being invited to the audience by someone else. When you promote yourself, you're inviting your target market to things like workshops and conferences, as well as simple community building events. You can do this in person, of course, or you can do it virtually. You can have others promote you too. Being invited by others to present before audiences that include your target market, this is a powerful, powerful way. If you're invited to speak, you want to be careful. You want to spend about 90% of your time sharing your valuable information and content, because if all you do is sell, I guarantee you won't be invited back. But also, you don't want to miss out on the opportunity to make the audience aware of what you do, because that's an awesome way to get booked solid. So how do you get booked to speak? Well, you need to begin by developing good relationships with the decision makers and the event planners and the organizations who serve your target market. And again, this takes some time. And when it comes to actually developing and doing your presentations, you want to remember that preparation is key. Know your audience, their compelling needs and desires. Have your message dialed in. You want to rock the house. Develop your bio and your introduction. Decide your role, similar to what we talked about in putting together your information products. Are you the expert or the interviewer or the moderator? Get clear on your role. Define the core message, define the take-home message, and then develop a compelling presentation title. So, very simple structure for this. 6 kind of core components. Tell them the takeaway, then set the stage, create the interest, next share your great content, then summarize the key points, save some time for Q&A, and then be sure to tell them how they can follow up with you. And to make your message sizzle, you want to practice a lot. Stage and block out the presentations, dress appropriately, market yourself, appear as the expert, and love your audience. Don't forget to record your presentations so that you can leverage them for information products and marketing tools. Repurpose, repurpose, repurpose. And after the presentation, be sure to follow up with the folks who attended, with the event planners and the organizers. Thank you notes and acknowledgments really matter. And finally, do some post-presentation review with yourself. See what worked well. See what needs tweaking. Okay, the sixth of the seven this fifth of the six self-promotion strategies is the writing strategy. Now, before you say to yourself, I'm not a writer, I want to encourage you to stay here with me, because if you can speak, like I'm having trouble doing, you can write. It is a skill that can be learned well enough for you to master this strategy. And, of course, you can always use a ghostwriter. So if you decide to use the Book Yourself Solid writing strategy to supercharge your marketing efforts, use this three-part formula. Part 1, plan it. Part 2, create it. Part 3, share it. We'll begin with Part 1, plan it. In this phase, you'll be deciding what the subject is, what the topic is, what your objectives are. This is where you're going to be writing about like business or dancing or boating, kind of the meta topic, the meta subject. The topic is the narrower focus within that broad topic. So, for example, we're boating, maybe it's water skiing. And your objective is, why are you writing this piece? What is the outcome that you want for your target market, making that relevant to their compelling needs and urgent desires? Part 2 is you're going to create your piece, and you don't have to over-engineer this either. It can be a very basic structure like with the previous strategy. Create, grab an attention-grabbing title, keeping in mind, again, the target market, keeping in mind the keywords that your target market might be searching for. Now write an introduction that summarizes what your objective is in the piece, explaining to the reader why it is you're writing and why it is that it's important. A strong introduction will help engage the reader right away. Then you can go on and write the body of the piece. This is where you deliver on the promise of your pithy title and introduction. Make it easy for your reader to consume. Use bullet points. Be consistent. And then now write the conclusion. Bring it all together for your reader. And don't forget, like with the speaking strategy, don't forget at the end to let your reader know what to do and how to follow up with you. Go back through your piece, revise it as necessary, proofread it, and before you know it, you're going to be ready to share it. And you can share it in a number of different ways. You can do it easily on the web, on your website, in a blog. The internet offers so many various opportunities to share your valuable content to the world. You can also put the stuff in print. Publishing in print is a longer-term strategy. It takes some time to build the traction in the marketplace. So you need to be both patient and persistent here. But in the end, the print distribution pays off huge. And remember, whether you think of yourself as a writer or not, you can do this. If you can speak, you can write. The Book Yourself Solid writing strategy is a powerful way to supercharge your marketing. The last of the 6 core self-promotion strategies is what we call the web strategy. You might wonder why we've kept this to last. Given all you've heard about the internet, of course, and the World Wide Web, you might be surprised why it's one of the optional self-promotion strategies. There's no question that having a high-quality, professionally designed website is important. If you remember, it was one of the standard credibility builders we considered back in Module 2 on building trust and credibility. But beyond that, you really don't need to learn or use any additional web strategies like search engine optimization or pay-per-click advertising or any of that stuff in order to get book solid. You really don't. Just those first 3. That's all you need. But whether you decide to use the Book Yourself Solid strategy, web strategy or not, it's important to understand a few things. First, the fundamentals of how to build an effective website. Second, how to get more visitors. Third, how to convert those visitors to clients. And fourth, how to establish and grow your social media platform. And here's some good news. If you've been following along with each of the building blocks we've been talking about, then you probably have most of the heavy lifting done already. You've defined your target market and their compelling needs and desires. You've gotten clear on the financial, emotional, physical, and spiritual benefits they'll get from working with you. then it's pretty straightforward to build out the web presence that speaks to these things. If you've got in place the trust and credibility tools that position you as an expert, it's easier to begin making sales offers proportionate to the trust you've created. And of course, you know how to have the perfect pricing and simple sales conversations. You'll be able to implement all of this stuff into the web strategies that we're talking about, and you'll end up with more clients than you can handle. But for the web strategy to be effective, you need to know who's coming to your site. You need to be clear about what you want them to do when they get there, and you need to know how you're going to want them to do that when they get there. You also are going to want to optimize for the search engines, boost your link popularity, get good inbound links, work with others folks, and take advantage of online press releases. The third fundamental I mentioned in connection with the use of this strategy to be effective is being able to convert the visitors and clients. And there are two principles here, enticement and consumption. Enticement, I alluded to earlier. It's offering your visitors something of value for free in exchange for their email address and permission to follow up. And then your visitor gives you the email address because he or she perceives some value there and wants more of your relevant stuff. And this was the basis of the permission-based marketing that we discussed earlier. And then the principle of consumption follows. Once your visitors have given you the email address in exchange for that ebook or white paper or whatever, then you need to help them consume the information they've just received. And follow-up is essential to the building of a relationship and, yes, the process of establishing trust and credibility. All right. The fourth fundamental in connection with this strategy is growing your social media presence, and your return on this investment is both quantitative and qualitative. And if you do it right, you're going to see an amazing increase in your leads and your stature and your visibility and your credibility. You're actually going to have to set aside some time, though, if you're going to go down this path. You're going to need to decide on what it is, the platforms you're going to use, LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter. You're going to have to follow your commitment deliberately and patiently. It takes time for this to happen. Here's the bottom line. You don't need to use this strategy, but the internet is your friend, and it's actually a pretty powerful one. And for many, an online strategy and the use of social media will be one of the most effective routes to resounding success. And that's a wrap on Module 4, the 6 core self-promotion strategies. And that's a wrap too on Book Yourself Solid, the fastest, easiest, and most reliable system for getting more clients than you can handle, even if you hate marketing and selling.